So, welcome to Joel the Nose. I'm going to do a test today. I'm going to compare Dolce & Gabbana's The King, their newest release, Eau de Parfum, with their original, which came out about a year and a half ago. I'm going to go in here to Macy's. So I'm on a little field trip today here in the Dadeland Mall, and I hope they cooperate, because sometimes when I come to these places, they know me and they're great and they're really nice. Other times, you get the wrong salesperson and they're just doing their job, but they don't allow you to really film or do anything in the store. So I'm gonna try to actually film at the counter where they sell Dolce & Gabbana. And I don't know, wish me good luck. Let's see what happens, because I'm gonna go in there right now and we'll see if they allow me to kind of film in the store. So stay tuned. So guys, welcome back. This is Joel the Nose, and I'm here actually at Macy's in Miami. Dadeland Mall. This is one of the biggest malls in Miami, very popular. Macy's, huge store, it's been here forever. And I wanted to review the latest version of The King. Many of you have seen this, right? Let me show you there. This is the Eau de Parfum, The King from Dolce & Gabbana. Very popular. You had the original that came out 2019. This came out about 6 months ago in 2020. Again, you can see the bottle. It's kind of like a translucent purple. Let me just show you the original. That's the original King. See, that's the more clear bottle. And I'm just going to do a quick comparison. So you have, again, this is the Eau de Parfum, which it's got a little bit more, like a lot of flankers and parfum levels. It's going to be a little bit darker, richer. And then I'm going to spray now the original. So let me compare these. Yeah, this has got a dark, this cardamom, it's spicy from the cardamom. I smell some like sage in there. So I'm going back and forth here. They're actually both very nice. I gotta say, off the initial smell, I like them both equally. I like Dolce & Gabbana. I have some of their private collection. I have Velvet Desert Oud, which is one of my favorite fragrances. Now that's from their private label. Dolce & Gabbana is very interesting. Obviously a top fashion house that not only does your designer fragrances that are around, for example, this is the 50 milliliter, it's around $90. You can see the packaging. So retail about $90 here at Macy's. And then you have their private labels, which are, $300 and up. So more citrusy on the classic. So the citrusy is definitely a little bit lighter, a little more fresh, a little more classic. This is going to be a little bit darker. I would say that's clearly going to be more of a nighttime going out fragrance, date fragrance. This is going to be more of a office fragrance or daytime. But these are all just kind of first impressions. I'm gonna let it dry down a little bit. You guys have seen my videos before. I kind of walk around for a few hours and give you a little bit of an update. So I'll give you some updates as I kind of walk around and let you know. But again, coming to you live from here at Macy's. Come visit them. Excellent service here. And I'll update as we go. Okay, guys? Okay, guys, now I've been walking around for a little bit here in the mall, in the Dadeland Mall. Sitting in a chair, as you can see, just kind of chilling out. It's been about an hour since I applied on my inner arm the EDT version of the King from Dolce & Gabbana, and on my right hand, the EDP, which is the newest one, came out in the last 6 months. So as the dry down goes along, I'm starting to prefer the EDP. The EDT, the original version, to me still has that kind of traditional classic designer smell. They both do, but the EDT has that similar vibe of like every other freshie on the market. I don't know what it is that these designers put in, these, the designer fragrances, the mass-produced fragrances. but it's like MSG in Chinese food. You know, they put something in there that is totally addictive, that's not great for you, but everyone loves it. To me, that's what these designers do. They've all like collaborated in my mind and put something in there, and this has got that vibe. I don't particularly love it because to me it just reminds me of mass-produced crap that smells like everybody. But I get it why people find it, you know, appealing. The EDP, I'm not smelling that as much. It still has the designer vibe going on, but I don't smell it as noticeably as the EDT. I think it's because one of my guesses is that the EDT has a more aldehydic note, aldehydes at the top. It gives us a metallic vibe, and so the EDT to me is more metallic, more bright, like bright, metallic, fresh. EDP is a little bit softer, darker, sensual. Clearly still almost a lot of the same notes and elements there, so it is very similar, but it's just darker. And as the dry down kicks in now at this hour mark, you're getting the big difference between the two fragrances, and a lot of you have probably read this. It's you know, a lot of people talk about it who have, you know, given their opinions on these fragrances. The EDP version has a fig note in the heart notes in the middle. And that fig note always gives a kind of creamy, almost resinous vibe or feel to a fragrance. I do like fig. I happen to like it a lot in my fragrances. And this is coming across now, and that's kicking in for me at around the hour mark. And that separates it for me now completely from the EDT version. If you watch the first part of the video, off the initial smell right off the bat, they were very similar to me and I liked them both. About the same. Now, as the dry down's going along, the EDP is taking over for me and I like it better. I will say this, if you're a fan of Dolce & Gabbana, they are one of the few houses that has their designer line, which is, you know, between $80 to $100 typically, you know, for a bottle. And then they have their, essentially what's like their private label, kind of like Tom Ford does, Dolce & Gabbana does it. You can only get them at their Dolce & Gabbana actual stores, which are really high-end malls. So here in Miami, for example, Dolce & Gabbana is at Bal Harbour Shops, really high-end store. If you go in there, they have them on display. They're much more expensive, but there's no comparison. I'm telling you right now, if you like Dolce & Gabbana designer, you may want to save up and get a sample or figure out how to try to get your nose. I have Desert Velvet Oud from the private label, and it's next level stuff. It gets so many compliments, and it smells like nothing in the designer label. So I always thought it's interesting how you have these extremely high-end brands like Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, who their clothes and their fashion are like way overpriced for everyday people like us, you know, but then they create a fragrance that is reachable for everybody. And I understand they're trying to maybe reach out to people, but I don't know, from a marketing standpoint, it seems like it dilutes their brand a little bit. But having said that, I digress. I will update it again. I'm gonna keep walking around. I'll update this again in a few hours and kind of give you my final verdict. Right now, again, EDP has taken the lead and I like it better. Let me know your guys' comments, thoughts, opinions. Do you like the EDT, the original version, better? Or do you like the EDP, the more recent, you know, Parfum King version better? It'll be interesting to see as the dry down goes along whether my opinion flip-flops back again or, I don't know. It's always fun stuff. And I will update soon, guys. Thanks for watching. So you can see I am back here now at my house where I feel awakened, where I feel inspired in front of my paintings, my art. So let's wrap it up. My review and comparisons / impressions of Dolce & Gabbana K, the King, the original EDT versus the newest Eau de Parfum. So again, as you saw, I've been wearing it all day now. When I say all day, I'll tell you how long in a second. EDT here, EDP here. The EDP was definitely a little bit more fruity, almost a little bit of a Date for Men by Fragrance One, Jeremy Fragrance's video. A little bit of that kind of fruity vibe, fruity, dark, more date vibe as it dried down. The EDT just stayed pretty linear and boring. Didn't really change a whole lot for me. I didn't really get much other than that initial, you know, blast that it had. I will say this also, both fragrances, and again, this kind of goes back to what I said earlier about how fragrances, the designer fragrances, a lot of them had this like DNA that just kind of, you know, it's like MSG or something they put in it. And I think this is interesting. And I'm gonna start watching out for this more when I do more designer fragrance reviews. But I think, get this, I hope this high def is not showing every wrinkle on my face. I think that it's salt. When you smell these, it's like a blast of salt that kind of, you know, has a little bit marine saltiness that's been so popular really since before Dior Sauvage, really, you know, gosh, it's got to go back to Acqua di Gio, I guess. Anyways, but you know how cooks, a lot of times, they overdo salt in the food? Think about like McDonald's French fries. I mean, they're okay, and then they're great when you add in extra salt. You know, most people prefer that, and I know a lot of people over salt their food. I think the problem with designer fragrances that I have personally, one of them, is that they over salt and put that kind of aldehydic salt type note in there that I think a lot of people just are attracted to because it's very familiar and it's generally likable, but it's just overdone. It's like if you put the right amount of salt in a food, it's great. If you put the wrong and too much amount of salt in the food, it's just like it gives you a headache. I mean, that's what this stuff does to me. So anyways, let me kind of wrap it all up now in a neat little bow so you can take my opinion for what it's worth. You can say, you know, whatever, phooey, I don't care what he says, but, you know, that's why my channel is here. This is what I would say. I've been wearing it now. Let me see here. Let me look at my phone. I've been now wearing it for 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours I've been wearing both fragrances. The EDT is almost completely gone, okay? So when you speak to performance, projection was good initially, okay, for about an hour. Then it sat down on my skin, and here it is after 4.5 hours. It's literally a faint memory of what it was. Can barely smell it. The EDP is still on my skin, but not a lot. It's definitely more, as I would expect, because if it's true to what they say, that it's the eau de parfum concentration or strength, it should have more oils, should have more fragrance oils in there to make it last longer. So it did not project as well, again, which is what I would expect as the EDT because it has heavier perfume oils because it has more concentration, so that makes it sit on your skin more, but it also means it should last longer. It's lasting a little bit longer, but not significantly longer. This is gonna go maybe another hour or so, so you may squeeze on 6 hours out of it versus 4 on the EDT. Again, this is on my skin. I've said it a million times before, you gotta test it out, you gotta try different you know, concentrations, different fragrances, because everybody's skin works differently. This is on my skin. Now, I will say I have a generally pretty good skin when it comes to testing for fragrances because my skin is a little bit more oily, as you can probably see, again, from this high def, it shows oil. My skin is a little bit more oily and has more oils in it, so therefore that means typically it's going to, fragrances are gonna last longer because if your skin is drier and more arid, then it evaporates more quickly and you get less length on your skin. I typically don't have that. Having said that, again, 4 hours of longevity on the EDT, about 6 hours on the EDP. What's my final verdict? My final verdict is I would not buy the original EDT personally. Again, this is personal. The eau de parfum I would not buy. I would wear it if somebody gave it to me or, you know, whatever. I had a sample, I would wear it. But to spend $90 again when I can get a top quality niche fragrance, for example, say Imaginary Authors also for 50 milliliters is about $100, $95. There's other ones you can get in, you know, 30 milliliters for $70, $80, like a Tot Libre de Orange, You can get just, I don't know, a ton of different things in that 30 to 50 ml range for around the same price or not much more, and you're getting a much better quality. And one of the reasons why I know, for example, I was wearing the Dolce & Gabbana all day on this arm and this hand. I had another niche fragrance on this side, which by the way was Mon Nom Es Rouge by Majda Bakali. And it's just night and day. It's night and day. I hate to say it, it's an unfair competition. When you wear one of these designer fragrances and then you have a good quality niche fragrance on the other arm and you're smelling and comparing, when you do that, guys, try it. Wear one on one arm, one on the other, and smell them throughout the day. And, it is what it is. So there you have it. The Eau de Parfum, again, I liked better. It's a little bit more distinctive, a little bit warmer, a little bit creamier, a little bit fruitier, and a little bit darker, more date-like, more gentlemanly. The EDT is just every other freshie out there, although I did like it at the initial blast. As it wore down, it just was kind of blah for me. All right, this is JoelTheNose. Hope you guys got some use out of this. If you have not subscribed already, I would humbly request, please think about subscribing and liking the video if you like this, and of course ringing the bell for notifications. I will be back soon with another video. Hope everyone's doing well. Peace and love out.